I would just like to say welcome and introduce myself. I'm Christy Mead. I'm the Ag Tech Growth Specialist here at Agnition, and I'm really stoked to have you all here today. I will be your go-to person for all things related to this Pilot Farm Network program, and will also be your host for today's webinar. So a little bit of background on me as we're getting started. I've been with Agnition for just over a year now. And before I got into this role, I spent 6.5 years with Ravensdown as an agri manager based on the East Coast, both up in Gisborne and then in Hawke's Bay. Now I'm lucky enough to call an 800-hectare sheep and beef farm in central Hawke's Bay home, which is exactly where I'm dialing in from today. These are super fun sessions for us, as we hope they are to you as well. And we have a bit of a gadgets theme to this webinar, and we'll be bringing you GoPros, drones, and mobile phones from our innovators this evening. So let's dive in. We've got a jam-packed agenda prepared for you this evening, so I'll take you through the plan and a little on how these webinars work. Then I'll hand off to Agnition CEO Jasper to give you the context on what the Pilot Farm Network is all about. We'll get an update from farmer and Pilot Farm Network innovator Anastasia Tristram, followed by the presentations from our 4 innovators, which you're all here to see, I'm sure. And then I'll wrap up with a quick sort of what happens next and how to get involved. Now, as we go, to make things go smoothly, you'll notice your camera and microphone is automatically turned off. We will keep it that way throughout the presentation. And if you have any questions or comments as we go, feel free to write them in the Q&A chat, which is a wee speech bubble just at the bottom of your screen with the question mark in it. And when you post in there, you can tick the box to make it anonymous if you prefer, and I'll be able to see them and then make it known throughout the webinar as we need to and refer back to them. So kicking us off is Jasper, and he'll fill you in on all you need to know about the Pilot Farm Network.
Thanks, Christy, and good to meet you, everyone. I'm Jasper van Halder. I lead Agnition, but my real role is to support Christy and Shika in getting the Pilot Farm Network up and running. Also proudly part of the Ravensdown group. This is the 3rd time we do this webinar, and it's the first time we did a bit of PR over the last couple of weeks. So you may have seen or heard about us. Maybe there are a few people on the call who haven't seen us before. And Christy and I got 2 questions. We always got, why are you doing this and what are you doing? And then after that was, can you do that in 90 seconds? So here we go. And the why we're doing it is really to get innovations on the farm quicker. The short summary is there are a lot of farms in the world, there are a lot of innovators in the world, but actually matching the two is really hard. So the Pilot Farm Network is that. It's a bit of a try before you buy model. And then if you look back to the last year, what we've done, it's actually quite a bit to be proud of. Over the last 2 webinars, we had 8 innovators ranging from different farm types, dairy, sheep and beef, arable, to finance functions, to infrastructure, sensing technologies, AI, emissions reduction. And our most popular one was a local spotlight from last time around, floating peas. So to hear from a real innovator what it's like to put your product forward in a session like this, and then to follow up with farmers afterwards, we have Anastasia share with us what her experience has been.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Jasper. And I guess just to kick it off, my name is Anastasia Tristram, and I am a farmer as well as my husband Hayden, and we are in central Hawke's Bay. So like a lot of sheep and beef farmers, we needed something else to do with our wool, so along came our wool pole protectors. Now, the really cool thing about us is when we started our trials a few years ago, we actually, I guess, had the biggest problem that Agnition is trying to solve, which is finding trial participants. We initially managed to come up with 13 participants, but that was only through the luck of cold emails. I don't know how many emails I sent in the end. And thanks to Agnition being part of their network system, we were able to increase that to 25 partners. And that's a collaboration between industry leaders from small holdings to large corporations. And the opportunities have been pretty endless for us in terms of what we've been able to do. When I put that into context, our trial locations are as far north as Northland, down to Te Anau, and as increased from the 25, we also have had the opportunity to work with 6 regional councils within New Zealand. Following on from that too, we've had a couple of other opportunities to work and develop slightly different products. So that's really cool and really exciting for us. Our future focus though is always about validation of our trial data and to keep in touch with our key stakeholders to continuing to monitor our product performance. This is an innovation that is all about the long-term gain. We're having some really good results at the moment, but we're not going to know its true potential for another 2 to 3 years. So for us, having this opportunity to work inside or alongside Agnition is a great stepping stone for us to really understand their true potential. So it's been a pleasure and a privilege to be a part of it, and we really look forward to the results in the future.
Thanks so much, Anastasia. Now, how do people get a hold of you if they want to hear more about Floating Peaks?
So the coolest thing is we are totally an open book. You can jump online to our website, www.floatingpeaks.co.nz. We have a brief bit of information about what our trial was. You can sign up to our emails and we'll be getting in touch and obviously sharing the results as we go. We just had our first round of feedback come through. We've still got a few to chase up, but so far results are looking exceptional and we'll continue to monitor that over the next few years.
Awesome. Thank you so much for giving us a bit of an update. It's super cool to hear how much you guys have been up to since just May of this year. So yeah, thank you again for jumping on and sharing that with us this evening.
Thank you.
Awesome. So we know that we have a few new people on the call this evening. So what we thought we'd do is just sort of show you what you need to know basically and how we run these Pilot Farm Network webinars. So what's coming up next is each of our innovators will have 10 minutes to present their innovation and showcase their pilot to everyone on the call. Then we'll have a few minutes at the end of question and answer time where you can pop your questions into the chat and I can follow up with the innovator live and they'll answer them as we go. While this is happening, we'll have a QR code up on the screen. So this QR code, you can essentially just open your phone camera, put your phone up to the screen, your cameras are off so no one will be able to see you do it. And once you hover over it, a wee link will appear and you can click that. That takes you through to the sign up form or an opportunity for us to capture a few of your details to be able to share with the innovator. Now, do feel free to sign up to a pilot, even if you have some more questions to the innovator about their pilot or want to talk specifics about your farm. This is just how we get your details to connect the two of you and start that conversation. Once you've had that initial chat, if it's suitable, you'll be onboarded by the innovator themselves and then your pilot begins. Right, now we're into our innovator presentation. So we've got 4 awesome innovators here to present to you all. They all have pilot offers that are exclusive to our Pilot Farm network, and all that they ask for in return is your feedback. You'll notice at the bottom of each, they do have caps for how many pilots they can take on, and we run a first in, first served basis for each. So sign up to multiple innovators as you go along. These are the details you'll need to know for getting in touch. Righty-ho, the AIMA team are back after being on our first Pilot Farm network a year ago with the AIMA platform built for dairy farmers. Now, Jeremy and Phil will take us through how AIMA Vision transforms pasture measurement by allowing farmers to get accurate pasture covers through just your smartphone. For farmers, this allows more regular, cost-effective and speedier pasture management to predict surpluses and deficits with more certainty. I'll invite Jeremy and Phil now to jump on and share all about it.
Welcome everyone. I'm Jeremy Bryant. I'm the founder and chief technology officer for AIMA. And then joining you is Phil, who's our chief commercial officer. So yeah, maybe just a bit of the background of AIMA. My background, so pretty extensive experience as a farm system modeler, working with a national genetic evaluation system, working with companies like DairyNZ and FarmX, very much around those decision support tools for farmers.
Hi everyone, I'm Phil. I'm Chief Commercial Officer. I joined AIMA about 10 weeks ago. I'm originally from the UK, as you can probably tell, and I've got 25 years experience in technology around the world, but my wife's Kiwi. We live in the Bay of Plenty on an avocado orchard, and we got some beef cattle roaming around. So this beef pilot that we're talking about tonight is very close to my heart because we hopefully are going to benefit from it as well. So yeah, nice to meet everyone on the call.
So yeah, I guess just around the background. So I've been a dairy farmer myself. I know the challenges of pasture measurement, carrying around a plate meter or the iometer, getting around, and it's a time-consuming exercise. So really the ideal behind AIMA and AIMA Vision, which we're introducing tonight, was everyone's got a cell phone. Why not pull out the cell phone, measure the pasture, and then we're also working on the drone integration. What AIMA is then is also the brains that will then transform that into actionable insights. So it gives you recommendations on what to do next, ultimately trying to improve pasture utilisation and pasture quality, right through down to auto-generation of grazing plans. So we launched a product back in June 2023. We've been developing it on what we call AIMA Vision, which is a cell phone pasture measurement. And we've got farms throughout the country, and we're building the models to allow to predict in the different regions now.
But yeah, seen massive gains for us, both time-wise at farm and production-wise. This season, 33% of the season so far. So putting that down to a lot of attempt. And
Yeah, so what Fraser was saying there, I know that it might not be easy for some people to hear. He's a share milker up in South Auckland. He's been using AIMA. His team follow the kind of automated grazing plans. He sets up his buddy paddocks. He's got his mobs, and they're 33% ahead this year so far on milk solids, and he puts a lot of that down to the tech. That's essentially what he was saying. If anyone wants to see the full 7-minute interview with Fraser, where we ask him a few questions and he talks extensively about his experience, then we've got that, and we can share that with the Agnition team so they can share it with you guys. But yeah, we've got a lot of loyal farms that are seeing excellent results, and we're super excited to be able to bring this pilot of the next phase of AIMA's development to you guys on this call.
So in terms of 2 parts to the AIMA solution, the AIMA brain, which we've got there, and what we're introducing to you tonight is around vision. So that's pasture measurement via the smartphone.
As Jeremy alluded to, there are current systems of measuring pasture which, work, but are not as quick as the solution that we're proposing. So there's plate meter, there's iometer, there's CDEX, which are all great solutions. But we thought to augment that, then it would be really good if we could bring smartphone enabled or drone enabled pasture measurement to the market, which is what we're pioneering. So you can see here on the left, the idea here is that, you're drinking your coffee in the morning, you want to go and measure your pasture, you can set the drone up from paddock to paddock, and then the camera on the drone will drop down, the camera on the drone will take a imagery and video of the paddock itself, which then will come back to our system. Our system is then able to look and estimate the dry matter in that paddock. Similarly with the smartphone, you go into the paddock. If you're moving the cows and you're already in the paddock, or you're doing a farm walk, you go in there, you do a little 360 twirl with the horizon up like the phone showed there, and then literally that data around dry matter will go straight into the system. So the idea here is that with satellite, yes, it's a time saver, but if it's cloudy, which is often in this country, then there are challenges with reliability and the time that it takes to get that data. You can have 3 readings 1 week and then nothing for 2 or 3 weeks. So the idea here is that you are in full control of what you take, and we think it's got application for both dairy farmers in terms of understanding more about their pasture utilization and their covers and their feed wedge, but also beef farmers in terms of understanding how much dry matter they've got and how much dry matter they need to feed their livestock to hit those weight gains that they want to hit using pasture, and then supplement for where they need it. So that's the whole piece. We've been really well supported by Agmart. So Agmart have helped support, how many farms is it across New Zealand, Jeremy, that we've been running?
15
Yeah.
farms. Yep.
So we've had 15 farms across New Zealand using the pilot. We've collected, I think we're up at 18,000 videos so far that we've collected, and we are building models from that. And the whole point of this pilot is that we're soft launching this product to people on this pilot call. So anyone in New Zealand except Northland, I think Northland, we don't have enough data for Northland right now, but if you're in any of the territory, you'll be able to use this system. You'll be able to start measuring your pasture and start understanding your pasture covers on a paddock by paddock basis. We'll talk about the pilot. So at the moment, AIMA is around $100 per month if you're a 100 hectare farm or less. If you're slightly over 100 hectares or more, it goes up slightly from there. But what we're doing is we're offering AIMA at the single biggest discount you can get in the New Zealand market. So the Agnition team will be happy with that. So that's a 4-month sign up at 20% discount. So $320 for that 100 hectare farm instead of $400. And we're going to give you AIMA Vision, which normally will retail at around $100 a month, free of charge for that 4-month period. So you can start using it. You can compare it to your current measurement methodology. You can take advantage of the part farm walks. And instead of having to do full farm walks every time, you can go and just do 30% and then just do that full farm walk once a month to top up that data. to get those really reliable pasture forecasts. So in return, what we're asking for is your feedback on the accuracy and usability of Vision and how you're finding it, and just feedback on the benefits that you've got of using both AIMA, the brain, and Vision in terms of time saving and accuracy and feed wedge and predictability, and using less supplement if it's helping you with your pasture utilization. On the beef side, which is the bit that, as I said, I'm most excited about from a personal level, we're giving 4 months of AIMA free. It is targeted at dairy farmers, so some of the things, like some of the features may not be as relevant for beef farmers, which is why we're offering it free. And then once AIMA for beef is live, it will be a 50% discount for the first year, for the first 12 months, and you guys will be the first to have it in your hands and using it. And as I said, one of the features we're going to be putting in there is, you'll be able to put in there your herd type, you'll be able to put in there your mob size, it will know your area, you'll be able to express a finishing weight that you want the cows to be at, and then the system will take into consideration that information and then start helping you get the pasture intake needed to start hitting that target weight at that time. So we think it's going to be really exciting for you guys. What we ask for in return is at least 2 full farm walks where you measure your pasture so that we have that initial data set to start building those forecasts from, and that you participate in an online workshop with us as you're using the system to help shape, and some of the features that I've mentioned, may or may not be things that you need. So we want to make sure that the things that we are delivering are the things that you need. So I think that is it. Here's our URL. Christy, probably back to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Phil and Jeremy. It was really great to hear. We have a couple of questions that have come through the Q&A chat that I'd love to raise with you. The first one might be directed at you, Jeremy, and it says that there's a 33% increase. It's a lot to actually put down to AIMA. There must have been some other changes made on farm. So in your farmer example, was there any other changes that were made on that farm system to get the improvement?
Yes. So they actually brought on, it's not totally AIMA as much as I'd like to say. They brought on both, I'm pretty sure it was Allflex collars and AIMA at the same time. So as a bundle, which gives you obviously the heat detection, the animal health, and then the pasture management through AIMA. Certainly that's realising big gains, but just through harnessing that technology combination as an option. So, yeah.
Awesome, thank you. And then the next question is, how are you working around the drone laws be line of sight, assuming for your drone stuff for the new year?
Yeah, so we and the farmers obviously will have to still maintain a line of sight, and obviously if they're within the flight path, they'll need to get approval in there. So as long as you got line of sight with the drone, you're okay. And also if you're not flying above a certain level, that sort of thing. So it won't be a totally automated solution. So you won't be able to just send the drone off, get it to measure every single paddock without you still physically. Yeah, that might change in the future with the aviation rules, but certainly we don't want to break any rules, and we don't want the farmers breaking any rules. Yeah, ultimately.
And we may even have technology on this pilot that could help with this. I mean, I'm not going to give the game away, but anyway, back to the questions.
Yeah.
The last one that came through is someone looking for a cost breakdown without the discounts. I might just take that one, I suppose, from my end, which would be what would be easiest probably is use the wee QR code on the screen here, sign up to the pilot, pop your details in, and then we'll make sure that the team are in contact to talk specifics, I suppose, for your farm. Any further info?
Yeah. So if you just give us the, like as Christy said, take the QR code, let us know how big your farm is, and then we'll come back to you with a price without the discount and with the discount so you can see the difference.
Yeah, happy to make that personalized. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, this is the point in which you can sign up to the AIMA pilot just by scanning that QR code up on the screen with your phone camera. If there's any other questions for AIMA that you think of as we go, that's no trouble at all. Just pop them in the chat and we can certainly come back to them at the end. Awesome. So our next innovator is our local spotlight this evening. So Penny, at only 18 years old, has already started her own ag innovation company, Market Drenchgun, and won the Field Days Young Innovator of the Year award this year. Market is a tool designed to improve the drenching process. Simply, it is an attachment that goes onto the drench gun, housing a coloured sponge to mark the side of the sheep's mouth so farmers can see which sheep had been treated. Over to you, Penny.
Thanks, Christy. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you on this call. So yeah, I'm Penny Ranger, the face behind the Market Drench Gun brand. I've just finished my last year of school and am extremely passionate about the agricultural industry and the different avenues within that. Growing up on a sheep and beef farm myself has provided me with an appreciation for the positive things a rural lifestyle provides, as well as a genuine understanding of the challenges farming can also pose. Market Drench Gun is an innovation in the startup phase and is simply, as Christy said, an attachment which goes on your drench gun, housing a coloured sponge to mark the side of each sheep's mouth as they are drenched. Each sponge marks approximately 150 sheep, and sponges are easily interchangeable. This innovation is solving a common challenge when drenching, such as losing your place in the race and not knowing which sheep have or haven't been drenched. The ink mark left by the attachment on the drench gun gives the farmer visual confirmation of which sheep have been treated. Market Drench Gun first came to light in 2021 as a student innovation project at school, which was also taken to field days in the prototype stage. Originally initiated by my older sister Georgia Ranger and her friend Stacey Bell, the concept behind the market attachment stemmed from experiences all three of us have had while drenching. Each one of us encountered challenges such as losing track within the race or uncertainty around which sheep had been treated. Recognizing the potential prevalence of these issues among others lacking confidence or experience, they embarked on developing a solution. However, in mid to late 2023, Stacey and Georgia stepped away from the idea to pursue other interests. This is when they handed it over to myself, who saw the potential and had the motivation to develop and establish Market Drench Gun into a successful and viable business. From late 2023 going into 2024, I have continued with Market Drench Gun, where I've been working towards commercialization. This is simply as I believe this product could be useful for many other people in the agricultural industry. I entered the Field Days Innovation Awards earlier this year, where I was fortunate enough to win Young Innovator of the Year with this innovation. The Market Drench Gun attachment helps to address three overarching aspects, which are drench resistance, increasing drench prices, and staff confidence. In regards to drench resistance, New Zealand is facing the increasing issue of drench resistance among stock. This simply is when internal parasites develop an inherited tolerance to drench. As you can see on the screen, in 2023, it was calculated that undetected drench resistance could be costing the New Zealand sheep sector $98 million. Market Drench Gun helps farmers to identify all sheep that have been drenched, providing 100% accuracy when drenching, meaning animals are not missed. Market Drench Gun is also beneficial for quarantine drenching, which aims bought-in stock and preventing the importation of multi-drench resistant worms onto your property. The attachment is an affordable tool which could save farmers thousands of dollars that could otherwise be lost if they were faced with drench resistance within their stock. The price of drench also continues to increase. As shown on the screen as well, an example of this is the Solvex Plus Drench. Around 4 years ago, you could purchase a 5-litre container for $1,200. Fast forward to this year, the drench now costs $1,699 for 5 litres. Due to this, farmers will be wanting to get the most out of their drench, meaning mitigating any efficiencies is key. This is where Market Drench Gun comes into its own. Because Market clearly identifies which animals have been treated, double ups do not occur, therefore drench is used effectively, meaning inefficiencies won't be causing farmers financial losses. Lastly is in regards to staff confidence. For farmers or individuals who may lack experience with drenching, keeping track of treated sheep can be challenging and may lead to uncertainty. The clear marking system provided by Market Drench Gun can help build confidence by providing a visual confirmation of which sheep have been drenched. However, Market can help farmers no matter what your experience may be. This tool provides 100% accuracy during the process of drenching. In regards to our pilot, the duration of the Market pilot will be 2 to 3 months. However, this can be longer if needed in order to tie in when your farm may be drenching. When signing up to the Market Drench Gun pilot, what we ask for in return is just the use of our product and your honest, specific feedback. This can either be in written or verbal form, whichever suits you best. Support will be provided at any stage needed throughout the duration of the pilot. The exclusive offer we are offering for farms that sign up to the Market Drench Gun pilot will be 30% off both the attachments and sponges, as well as free freight. As shown in the table, the attachment and its cap will be $17.50, down from $25, and the sponges will be $3.50 each. These come individually packed. A phone call will be made to those interested in regards to the number of sponges that would be needed for your operation. On the screen, you should see some reviews of farmers that have used Market Drench Gun and what their thoughts were with our product. Yeah, that's it from me. Short and sweet, I guess. I look forward to potentially working alongside some of you soon. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Penny, for sharing all about Market. I think it's super cool to see, someone who's fresh out of high school doing such a cool thing in our industry. We do have one question that has come through on the Q&A for you. Just wondering if you have any stats on how many double ups or misses, perhaps as a percentage, that could typically occur on farm without Market. Or maybe that's something you're looking to test in the pilot.
Yep, definitely something that we're looking to test in the pilot. So yeah, we'd like to potentially work that out if you sign up.
Awesome. So QR codes up on the screen here for Market to get your hands on one of the Drench Gun attachments. Penny's only got around 10 spaces in her pilot this time, so please get in soon. It's a first in, first served basis for signing up for these pilots this time round. If there's no other questions popping through, oh, here we go. How many sheep can be done with one sponge, Penny?
Approximately 150 sheep can be done with one sponge.
Yeah. Oh, from each year. Cool. Any other questions, feel free to pop them in the chat and I'll keep checking it as we go and we can come back and ask Penny some more questions at the end if that suits. For now, we'll move on to our next innovator. So next up is Bitwise Agronomy. It's run by a Kiwi now living across the ditch. Fee and her team have created the Greenview software using computer vision, which is a type of artificial intelligence, to count and measure the growth stages of berry crops from videos taken by growers with either off-the-shelf GoPro cameras attached to farm machinery or by hand just using their cell phones, predicting berry yield forecasts at a massive 90% accuracy. And I'll let her fill you in on all the details. Over to you, Fee.
Thank you. So, hi everyone. I'm Fee from Bitwise Agronomy. Yeah, it's a little bit about us and how we started. So, we do forecasting for really niche, the specialty fruit, in particular berries, so raspberries, strawberries, blackberries, blueberries. I'm a farmer myself, but I've had a long career in technology where I was kind of traveling. I have a vineyard in Tasmania and I was traveling for work, building sort of smart and manless factories. So I was using a lot of AI and vision technologies in these factories. And I was like, well, my vineyard's out of control. How can I know what's going on in my farm and how do I go from there? So I built a vision system using artificial intelligence, and the berry industry came knocking pretty quickly. And what we found was that, the berry industry have a really high stress problem of not being able to forecast. So when we're trying to forecast every week for maybe 15 weeks of the berry season and give that forecast to a marketer who's then negotiating with the supermarkets and setting the price, we want to give the supply chain confidence so they can set the best price. And what we found was that was super hard to do it on a weekly basis. You might be able to go for the whole season. Yeah, I'm going to pick 1,000 tons, but how does that actually fall on a weekly basis? And, so many things influence that, from weather to solar to pruning styles to plastics to all sorts of things. So that's what we do. So how we do it? So all you need is a GoPro camera. You attach it to your existing farm machinery. When you're out there doing other jobs, you take about 5% of the area of interest in video. People do it as an individual job. It doesn't take very long. You only need to take the imagery every 2 weeks. And that 5% represents sort of in a month, it takes about 10 minutes per hectare to collect that information. You then upload that at the end of the day into our portal, and then overnight we run it through our artificial intelligence. But the artificial intelligence looks at the different phenological stages of the fruit, from a flower to a pickable fruit. We then take those sort of counts that we see and do a whole lot of analysis and add another layer of artificial intelligence on top of that to give you a forecast. Now, there are a couple of other companies out there that count things, but because I'm a farmer, I know that counting how many fruit is on pieces of fruit or on a plant, times that by a weight, doesn't equal what you're going to be picking in the next week. And so after talking to our customers over the last couple of years, what we found was understanding how that fruit ripens at any given time is extremely hard. And, because we haven't been able to track that fruit at mass, we haven't been able to develop ripening curves that are highly accurate. We've got ripening curves that give us a trend, but not highly accurate ripening curves. So we used our data and artificial intelligence to develop over 150 ripening curves for 55 different varieties of berries all across the world. So if you're a Driscoll's grower and you're growing the Zara variety of strawberry, you can ring us up and say, hey, we want to start forecasting for Zara. And we're like, great, we've got ripening curves from Zara, from Scotland, from Tasmania, and from England. And we'll pick and place the right one that's as similar to your climate and then tweak it for your farm as well. That then allows us to give highly accurate weekly forecasts that are within 90% accuracy. So what we do, so I sort of told you a little bit about it, I've jumped ahead here, but basically the 90% accuracy will then be used to, most customers use it to put into their systems for their marketers to then develop the regional forecast and set the price. To give you an example of why this is so important, we did some analysis on one of our growers, and this grower grows 10 hectares of strawberries. Now, this grower on average was having rejection events of fruit where they were under forecasting. So they thought they were going to pick, say, 5 tons this week, and they ended up picking 9.5 tons. That 4.5 tons that they haven't sold, they were getting a rejection event on. They thought they were going to get $15 a kg for that fruit, but in the end, they only got $3 a kg. So on this 10-hectare farm, they were having that happen on average over 3 years to 60 tons. And that equated to about $660K a year in loss of earnings. So by forecasting well, you can really change that gross margin on your farm, and that's what we achieve. So we'll do a rolling 7-day forecast or a 1-week forecast, or we can forecast to pick dates. We have an app that you use in the field as well to help with ground truthing or to give you sort of confidence in the field. And our existing customers that use that, their accumulative value for the top 10 customers, they produce over $5.5 billion worth of berries on the global market. So we have quite a big user base in hectares at the moment. So the growers that really get the most out of the system that this is designed for is berry growers that are already submitting a weekly or a monthly forecast to a marketer or to, a marketing department that are trying to find a market for those berries. The other key is that, if you're trying to forecast and you're finding that you have inconsistencies from farm to farm or from, forecaster to forecaster who's counting the berries in the field. So we take away the ambiguity from the humans and we reduce that waste for rejections events. So if growers fall into that sort of those categories, what we will say is that we're not a magic black box to forecasting. If you don't forecast at the moment and you don't have things like berry weights or, track how much you're picking on a weekly basis, we're probably not the best fit for you. You need to be already forecasting. In terms of the pilot, how it works is that we'll go over the whole berry season. The berry season had started already. We're probably into our first few weeks of picking already, but that doesn't matter. We can start at any point in the season and we'd work it all the way to the end of the season. So every 2 weeks, we need people on the pilot project program to take a 5% sample of the area of interest, and consistency is key here. We need to understand your weekly berry weights. We work with you to understand what we call our visibility factor, what we can and can't see. We'll get weather data from a generic weather service, and if you have in-field sensors, we'll use that as well. And you'll provide us with your weekly pick data so we can just validate that the curves are correct for your particular farms. And then every 2 weeks, as soon as you upload the data, we'll give a forecast back within 12 hours. We'll have a bi-weekly meeting where we'll go into the detail of the forecast to help with that change management and also give you sort of confidence in the system. So the price that we're doing, the sort of special offer that we're doing for the pilot program is that it's a 12-month license or subscription for $10,000. Normally our entry level price is $17,500. And, that is for up to 5 hectares and, maybe 2 different varieties of fruit. We've got our prices there of what we normally charge. We do a per hectare pricing once you get past our minimum entry level. You need to provide your own GoPros or smartphones to use the app. We don't provide those, but we'll give you guidance on how to set them up and, have videos and things like that. At the end of the pilot project, we'd do a sort of round off end of season meeting with you. We would review the results in total and probably do a little video testimonial as well. And that's everything from me. So happy to answer questions.
Thanks very much, Vic. I really appreciate you taking us through, how it all comes together to get such an amazing forecast. We do have a couple of questions come through for you. First one being, does the product work outside?
Yeah, it sure does. It's been designed to work outside. So we've trained it, our AI on imagery on berries that are in the ground, berries that are on tabletops, berries that are under tunnels, that are in glass houses that are completely open. And it's been, trained all over the world. So yes.
Awesome. And how do you deal with light changes in the videos?
Yeah, so we knew to be able to scale and get the amount of data that we needed to build really good AI, that we needed data from all over the world. So we chose to use the GoPro camera because, building hardware is hard. We put the training into our artificial intelligence to deal with light and different light conditions. And so we deal with that at a software level. And, we forecasted over 29 billion blueberries that made it to market last year. It was just blueberries. So the system has been tried and tested. We get about 5 terabytes data a month, and it's really been put through its paces. So deals with different lighting conditions and trouncing and things like that really well, in different varieties well.
Awesome. And then the last one I've got here for you is, how are the videos taken from the GoPro/smartphone? I'm assuming that's how you get them from that device to your system.
Yeah, it's pretty low tech. You take the SD card out and you put it into your laptop and you drag the videos over into a folder structure that we go through and define with you guys, and then you let it upload overnight. Yeah.
Simple as that. Awesome. If there's any other questions feel free to pop them in the chat. Or if you want some more details or to talk through the offer for your farm specifically, feel free to use the QR code here on the screen, and we can connect you guys to have that conversation a little bit further along as well. Thanks so much, Fee. Really appreciate that insights. On to our final pilot for this webinar. We will be bringing on Ed, who's based over in Australia, and 2 years ago, while out on his dad's farm flying a drone to take some photos, his dad said, if that could check the stock for me, I could stay on the farm longer. And so the idea of Drone Hand was born, where a semi-autonomous drone can do real-time monitoring of stock on farm. Now, this is an early-stage company, and farmers would be on the journey with Ed as some of the first in the world to trial this technology. So I'll hand off to you, Ed, to tell everyone all about it.
Right. Hi, everyone. I'm Edward. I'm the founder of Drone Hand, and it's great to be here. Huge thanks to Christy and the team at Agnition for the opportunity. As Christy mentioned, my family owns a mixed livestock farm in rural New South Wales here in Australia, where we run crossbred merinos and cattle. And as you know, there are times of the year, particularly where there's just never enough time in the day to do everything. There's always something, from a ram that's jumped the fence to a ewe that's cast or a trough that's empty. Add to that, staffing costs are through the roof, if you can find them. And with lamb and wool prices the way they have been in recent years, you have to keep your losses to a minimum. But imagine having a bird's eye view of your property and being able to see in real time where your sheep are, how many you have, and if any are in trouble. Imagine being able to do all your daily checks in a tenth of the time for your current methods. With Drone Hand, we're leveraging on-the-land experience and cutting-edge technology to deliver a patent-pending solution to livestock producers that reduces the time, costs, risks, and inefficiencies in your farming practices. Through a drone-agnostic flight app that provides real-time livestock location, livestock count, it identifies predefined livestock issues and detects changes in water sources, fence lines, and pasture. Next year, we'll be offering 3-tiered subscription packages for diverse farm sizes and needs, from our essential one for smaller or budget-conscious farms with a semi-autonomous software that's compatible with off-the-shelf drones, to the extended version for the larger properties like here in Northern Australia, using our long-range semi-autonomous drones that can cover hundreds of kilometres, or to our enterprise version for agribusinesses requiring remote oversight, using fully autonomous drone dock systems for seamless off-site monitoring. But we're not quite there yet. We need your help to test and trial our system. So come with us on the journey to test the development of DroneHand. By being part of these trials, you'll have an opportunity not only to give valuable feedback while testing cutting-edge technology, but to also influence the development of DroneHand's advanced machine learning capabilities, which you can see in this video here showing the identification of ewes and lambs, even when they're suckling, and any conditions that they might have. This first trial release version of DroneHand will be compatible only with the DJI Enterprise range. However, post-trials, our list of compatible drones will be significantly expanded. Now, to use the program, you'll take your drone down to your paddock, open up the DroneHand app, choose your paddock, and click launch. While you're holding the controller, the drone will fly itself on the most efficient route over the paddock, feeding you real-time, actionable insights into your livestock location, a really accurate count, and identification of visual health and well-being issues, such as if a ewe is cast or an animal is deceased. When it's finished, the drone returns to you and provides a concise report with downloadable imagery and reporting. Now, if you haven't used a drone before, no worries, as we'll have a few of the DJI M3E drone packs to loan in a first-in, first-served basis. I'll also be there at the start of trials in mid to late November to get you set up and to teach you the basics of drone use and to make sure you're comfortable with the system. DroneHand isn't like other drone livestock counting services you may have seen, as DroneHand allows you to check your stock whenever you see fit. You don't have to bring somebody else in to do it for you, providing not only an accurate count of the livestock's location and issues identification. In the very near future, DroneHand will be able to check your sheep, your cattle, your fence lines, your water sources, and your pasture, all in the one system across multiple drone platforms. By participating in the Agnition Pilot Farm Network trials, you'll be able to purchase a full DroneHand subscription for more than 50% off. At the end of the trial period, if you've borrowed one of our drones, you'll also have the opportunity to purchase that at a highly discounted wholesale price, regardless of whether you choose to subscribe to DroneHand or not. All we ask is that participants not be within 5 kilometres of an active airport, be willing to complete a simple feedback form once a month, and be willing to understand and work with us on this early test release, warts and all. Once started, I'll be available via phone, email, and website to support you, should you have any questions or issues as the trial progresses. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you, and I hope to see you in the skies soon.
Thanks so much, Edward. That's awesome to get a bit of an insight as to what DroneHand's got available for our Pilot Farm members now, but also what's coming over the next little while and releases as well. We do have a couple of questions that have popped through here for you. First one being, how are you going to deal with drone laws for long-range flying in the future?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and it's an important one. As a professional drone operator, I've had a lot of experience with providing the risk assessments and SORA frameworks for our aviation authorities here in Australia and overseas. In the future, when we're working with those very large properties in Northern Australia or using our fully autonomous systems, we will have to have beyond visual line of sight certification for that property, but it'll be under our licensing system. We will train up the local user using our channel partnerships with groups like Toll Uncrewed, which you may have heard of, to get everyone sorted out and safe and secure.
Awesome. And the next question is, how do you get around double counts when an animal walks out of the video and back into it again? The videos showed you looking at only a small part of the paddock at a time.
Yeah, great question. This is a bit in the technology side of it, but my team of developers and my co-founder, who's a machine learning engineer, have developed a part of the algorithm that forms a tracking component of it. which allows the animals to be tracked while they're in frame and prevents a double count situation. Also, the drone flies at about 100 meters up with a very wide field of view as it's flying across the paddock at around 30 kilometers per hour or more. So it's not often you'll get an animal that's running that fast to cover across and get into the next field of view. But if it does, that's where the tracking component comes in, prevents a double count. At the moment, we're sitting on 97, 98% accuracy, which is, for machine learning, that's very, very high. And we hope to improve that as our trials progress.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Edward. We've got the QR code up on the screen there for anyone that is interested to further the conversation with Edward or sign up to use the Drone Hand platform either on their own enterprise drone or look to potentially borrow one for the period of the trial as well. So heading towards the close of we'll pop up the QR codes for all 4 innovators for the sign up. So like I said, super easy, just open your phone camera, hold it up to the QR code and it'll take you through to the form to complete the sign up. We did just have one more question for Penny, if you wouldn't mind coming back up on the screen. Just a quick question around how long does it take, or how long does the mark stay on the sheep's face? It's a question that had popped through.
Yeah, so our sponges are soaked in a water-based, non-toxic paint sort of substance. And once the sheep or lambs or whatever go back out into the paddock, rub their face on the grass or drink out of the trough, or there's a downfall of rain, then it comes off.
Awesome. And just while you're up, do they work on all drench guns and are those sponges reusable?
Yep, so the attachments can go on to every drench gun. There's a rubber grommet in the centre with a wee hole which pushes over the spout of the gun. And no, the sponges are not reusable. Once you've got your 150 or so sheep out of them, then they're done.
Yeah, that's all good. Awesome. If there's any last questions for any of the innovators or anything that you've seen here tonight from the Pilot Farm Network itself, we're more than happy to answer them. Feel free to just pop them in that chat that we've been using along the way. I would just like to say thank you so much to our innovators for presenting this evening. Those were such awesome insights and opportunities for our Pilot Farm Network group. Just reiterating that you're more than welcome to sign up to more than one pilot. The forms that are available up here on the screen are also available on our website for the next few days after the webinar. Still very much running the first in, first served process. Now, any next steps, if you have signed up to an innovation this evening, what we do is we gather the names together and then hand over to the innovators to contact you directly, answer any questions, and then get the pilot started. We'll still keep in touch to get feedback and hear how you're going periodically, so you might find yourself hearing from me directly over the next few months. And if you do know of someone, or if someone's sort of come to mind, or farmers come to mind if you listened here this evening that would be interested to get in on one of the pilots, then feel free to share their details either with me directly or send them along to our Pilot Farm Network website to sign up themselves while the pilots are open. So to wrap up, and thank you all very much for spending some of your Tuesday evening with us. We are keen to get some feedback, so feel free to pop any thoughts or comments in that Q&A chat. We also will have a survey that will pop up on your screen when the webinar ends. So when that pops up, you can just click the continue button and there's just a quick 4 questions for you. That would be so helpful. We'll definitely use the information to help kind of shape the future of these webinars so that we bring as much value as we can each time that we host them. So really keen to hear from you there if you wouldn't mind taking just a minute or two to fill that out. As I mentioned, thank you so much for attending the webinar this evening. We're super excited to bring this Pilot Farm Network to you a couple of times a year. It's such a great opportunity to dive into these future ag tech solutions and really try and drive collaboration between farmers and innovators, hopefully creating better on-farm solutions for more efficient and sustainable farming down the line. Following this webinar, we'll flick out an email with the details, the QR codes to sign up, and the link to this recording as well that you're most welcome to share within your networks. But other than that, if there's no more questions popping up through the Q&A, I will call that a wrap. And yeah, again, thank you all for taking the time this Tuesday evening and popping this on instead of Netflix. So much appreciated. And our innovators will be, very excited to see who's popped their names through those pilot signups as well. Thank you and good evening.